The Galactic Council's designation of Earth as a Class 12 Death World had become something of a running joke among humans. Sure, Earth had its dangers, but compared to planets with acid rain, 500-degree surface temperatures, or gravity that could crush most species into paste, humanity's homeworld seemed downright cozy. The Vraxians disagreed. Earth is a fraud, Supreme Warrior Krez had declared before the assembled council. My people evolved on Vrax Prime, where the air itself is poison and the ground tries to devour you. These humans claim their world is dangerous? They have parks, recreation areas, places where their younglings play. The human ambassador, David Park, had simply shrugged. You're welcome to visit and see for yourself. That's how 1,000 of the galaxy's most elite Deathworlders ended up in drop pods, descending toward Earth's safest zone, a place humans called Yellowstone National Park. Krez led the landing party, his 4 arms checking his biosuit's readings as they touched down in a meadow of waving grass. Around him, his fellow Vraxians emerged from their pods, along with contingents from other notorious death worlds, the acid-blooded Skelligs, the radiation-immune Thrakari, and the temperature-resistant Molten. Atmospheric readings normal, reported his second-in-command, Vrak. Temperature optimal. No immediate threats detected. Krez removed his helmet, breathing in the crisp mountain air. You see? Even their wilderness is tame. Spread out. We'll document this farce and return to a Skellig's warrior 30 meters away suddenly vanished. One moment he was standing there, the next gone. Only a small hole in the ground remained. What in the Vrak began, then screamed as the ground beneath him erupted. A massive brown form covered in fur and muscle emerged with impossible speed. The creature, later identified as a grizzly bear defending her cubs, dismantled the warrior's bio-armor like tissue paper. Defensive positions. Krez roared, but chaos had already erupted. The Thrakari, confident in their radiation immunity, had wandered toward the hot springs. Their screams echoed across the valley as they discovered that boiling water and sulfuric acid cared nothing for radiation resistance. Those who stumbled back fell into more hidden pools, the ground itself a minefield of geological death traps. The Molten contingent laughed at their comrades' misfortune until the temperature dropped 60 degrees as the sun set. Adapted to their superheated world, they began shutting down, their metabolism unable to cope with what humans considered a mild evening chill. Sir, we need to move, Vrak urged, supporting a wounded comrade. The locals, He never finished. A pack of wolves, coordinating with terrifying intelligence, had surrounded their group. Not the apex predators of other worlds that announced themselves with roars and displays. These hunters worked in silence, using tactics that would make military strategists weep with envy. By the 3rd day, they'd lost 400 warriors to what the humans called local wildlife. By the 5th day, disease claimed another 200. Microscopic Earth organisms, harmless to humans after millions of years of coevolution, treated alien immune systems like all-you-can-eat buffets. On the 7th day, Krez watched in horror as a warrior was carried off by what looked like tiny flying insects. The mosquitoes, it turned out, weren't just annoying. For species that had never encountered them, they were vectors for 1,000 different deaths. We're leaving, Krez ordered the 150 survivors huddled in their makeshift camp. But the weather had other plans. A sudden blizzard struck with violence that made Vrax Prime's toxic storms seem gentle. Warriors who could survive their homeworld's acid rain froze to death in what the park rangers later called unseasonable but not unusual weather. 2 weeks after landing, only Krez remained. He sat in the wreckage of his pod, biosuit failing, watching a human family walk past on the nearby trail. A small child, no more than 5 years old, was picking flowers and chasing butterflies. The same butterflies that had proven fatally toxic to 3 of his warriors who'd made the mistake of touching them. The child waved at him. Hi. Are you camping too? Krez could only stare. This youngling was thriving in an environment that had slaughtered the galaxy's deadliest warriors. A park ranger found him the next day, dehydrated and delirious, mumbling about demon squirrels and grass that cuts like blades. They airlifted him to safety where human doctors treated him for exposure, 16 different infections, and what they cheerfully called a mild case of altitude sickness. Standing before the Galactic Council a month later, Krez delivered his report with the hollow eyes of someone who'd seen too much. Earth isn't a death world because of its extremes, he said quietly. It's a death world because its inhabitants think those extremes are normal. They take their younglings to places that killed my finest warriors. For recreation. He paused, shuddering. Maintain Earth's Class 12 designation. And add a warning, never mistake human resilience for weakness. They haven't conquered their death world, they've befriended it. And that makes them the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The council voted unanimously to approve his recommendation. And somewhere on Earth in Yellowstone National Park, that same 5-year-old child continued picking flowers, blissfully unaware that she was playing in what the galaxy's greatest warriors now called Hell's Playground.